Hey family, welcome back to Jack's Making It Home. Now, we're gearing up for the holidays, so we thought it was the perfect time to share with you one of our favorite side dishes, macaroni and cheese. It happens to be a staple on most Thanksgiving Day tables, but you know, you can make this dish any time of the year. And luckily, all you need to do is add water. Just kidding guys, we're gonna bake the mac and cheese from scratch. And we're not hating on that box mac and cheese, but we don't want to set you up for failure bringing that to the family gathering. Guys, we're going to start by taking our pot. We're going to add some water to this, fill it up about 1/3 of the way full. Then we are going to put it on our burner, cut the heat just about all the way up to get our water boiling. We're going to add in some salt to the water so that the noodles don't stick, and then we are going to add in our noodles. So while we are waiting for our water to come to a complete boil, we can go ahead and start grating our cheese. Now, you guys, please make sure you use this type of grater known as a steel box grater. You don't want to use these little fine graters because your hands are going to get really tired. This takes some of the pressure off of your body while you're grating, and it just makes it a lot easier. Also, you can see that the size of the grate is larger. When I grate my cheese, I like to alternate between the types of cheese. So as you all know, we have 4 types that we're working with today. So whichever order you go in, just use one of each first and then repeat. Okay guys, we just got finished boiling our noodles and shredding our cheese. With the noodles, we made sure that we stirred every so often. I wouldn't say go any more than 10 minutes without stirring. This is to ensure that there's no sticking of the noodle to the bottom of the pot. The salt that we added to the water will really help with that, but still go ahead and just give a little stir every once in a while to make sure it's not sticky. Also want to make sure that you reduce your heat, and a telltale sign that it's time to reduce the heat is if you see the water bubbling and starting to foam and froth. Getting too hot. Okay, so back that heat down just until we have a nice simmer, a nice low boil, but we're not frothing over the edge. Once the noodles are pretty cooked through, you can go ahead and remove the pot from the hot burner and just let it rest on another portion of the stove that wasn't heated. And y'all, we don't need to get the noodles super duper tender, okay? Remember, they're gonna go in our pan and into the oven. We just want them to be cooked just through, but they don't need to be super duper tender. When it came to shredding our cheese, the only other thing is that once we were done, we gave it a nice little toss just to make sure that all of the flavors of cheese were evenly distributed throughout. And now we're ready to rock and roll. We're gonna go ahead and head over to our oven now. We're gonna preheat that to 425, and we're gonna get started with ladling in our noodles and cheese into the pan. All right guys, so we are going to start with giving our pan a nice coating. I have pan spray, but you just want some type of non-stick spray. Kind of get the edges there. And then we can go ahead with our first layer. So we're gonna ladle in or scoop in some noodles. And we just wanna cover the base of the pan here. And this should be enough. We want to get 2 layers of noodles and cheese here. Kind of looking for gaps. I want to kind of cover them. Alrighty. Even it out. And then we're going to take our salt and pepper, and we are going to just do a light dusting of each. Don't know why I closed that, guys. Now, we want this to be seasoned. However, people can always add more on their own. So next we're gonna take our cheese, and I like kind of taking little by little and going all over the pan. This is again to make sure that the different flavors, I feel like this is not called flavors, but we're gonna go with flavors of cheese, very evenly distributed. And you guys, there's no such thing as too much cheese. There is such thing as too much cheese. But we're gonna be very generous with our cheese. I don't know if you all noticed, but I even purchased another block of each. Because honestly, y'all, I don't ever measure when I do this. So I didn't know how much I needed, but nice to have enough or more than enough versus too little. Okay, so I'm not really seeing any holes in our cheese, so a nice thick layer of cheese. All right, then we're gonna add our second layer of noodles. Put that on there. Okay, get a nice even coating. As you all can probably tell, you do slightly more cheese than noodles. But like when I was covering the noodles with the cheese, I saw 0 noodles poking through. But like here, I'm seeing a little cheese poke through, and that is fine. Don't really want too many noodles stacked on top of each other. Make sure you get your edges, your corners. Fill those in. All right, we're looking about right. All right, then we're gonna go again with our salt and pepper. I say salt and pepper, but I started with the pepper and salt. All right, at this point, you're going to pause. Actually, need 2 more items that I forgot to mention. Some type of measuring cup, and something I forgot to grab. A fork, or if you have a very small whisk, that will work even better. We are going to now take our canned milk, carnation milk, evaporated milk, and we are going to puncture 2 holes. 1 hole on the opposite side, 2 holes. You know why I do this? Because it'll pour easier. Like this doesn't really pour. Splatters though. So if we add another little hole on the opposite side, guess what? It's gonna pour nice and freely. All right, so I'm looking at my cups. This is 1 cup here. I'm gonna do half a cup. Uh-oh, sorry guys, wasn't looking. Okay, half a cup of this, and then we're actually going to do the other half water. Okay, this is concentrated, so we need to add some water. Okay, so we have half cup milk, half cup water. Then we're gonna take our egg and add it. Ooh, y'all, I'm not good with cracking eggs. Work in progress. And then we're gonna whisk. We wanna make sure we're whisking up that egg. All right, y'all. So now I like to do this step before I add the last layer of cheese. This way I feel like our mixture can seep better into the macaroni and cheese. So we are gonna drizzle this on like so. Now the key is that you don't wanna have this liquid fill more than half of your pan. So like we don't want the liquid to come up here, come up very high on the pan, no more than half. Okay. So if you're looking like you're getting to half with your pan, just stop. But this will be perfect for this size dish. All right, and notice when we were pouring that on there, we didn't really see any yolk just sitting anywhere. We mixed it or whisked it very well. All right, so then we just add our final layer of cheese. Ooh, right on time. Our oven is ready. Now, every time I do this final layer, looks like I'm gonna go over the sides, so I pile it on and then smooth it out. Seems to work well for me. Kind of use my hand to cradle around the edges. Guys, you know, you can buy cheese pre-shredded, but it's much more fresh and creamy when you shred it yourself. And I have tested it and I can taste the difference. It's like, I don't know the science behind cheese, but I feel like when it's already shredded, it's drier. It's more dried out. Makes it less creamy in my opinion. Okay, again, no such thing as too much cheese. There is such thing. But we're pretty liberal with our cheese. And one thing you can do is, if you're afraid you're gonna use too much cheese, is you can go a little lighter, and as it cooks down in the oven, you can add more on top in the middle of the cook if you're starting to see noodles expose themselves. And make sure again that we are not cheating our corners and our sides, our edges. And you guys, if you can see, I'm packing this down a little bit because cheese is very greasy. And when this starts to cook, the grease is gonna start to bubble up. So I'm just kind of packing it down a little bit. I did line the bottom tray of my oven with foil to catch any drippings, but if you pack it down on the sides, you should be pretty good. You won't have any spillage. All right, and as you can see, we have just a little bit of cheese left over, a little bit of noodles. I'll bag this up and use it in something else. I'll probably just discard the noodles. Okay guys, now all we have to do is put it in the oven. We're gonna let this baby cook for about 40 minutes. Alright guys, here is our final product, our baked mac and cheese. Now it's looking great. We just pulled it out of the oven. We actually let this one go for 50 minutes. I like it to get a little brown on the top. If you want it even more brown, leave it in a little longer. Less brown, take it out a little earlier. Again, this was 50 minutes here. However, although it's out of the oven, we do not want to cut into this right yet. It is piping hot. We want to let it cool a little bit. About 30 minutes if you can hold out. Just 30 minutes, it'll still be nice and warm, ready for you to eat. However, letting it cool will help let all of the ingredients congeal a little bit. If we scooped into it right now, it would be super duper runny, kind of like falling all over the place, something that we don't want. So have a bit more patience, let it cool. While we're waiting, let's do a quick recap of our entire process. It was super easy, right?
We started with a pot of water. We brought that pot of water to a boil, added some salt in there so that our noodles would not stick to the bottom of the pot. Dumped our noodles in, reduced the heat a little bit, making sure it was a light boil, but we didn't want any frothing of the water, any spillage. We let our noodles cook right until they were just at done. We didn't want them super duper done because they were going into an oven. Alright, while we were waiting for our noodles to boil, we started shredding our cheese. We were working with 3 types of cheddar cheese. We had mild, sharp, and extra sharp, and then we threw in some pepper jack cheese. Now some people actually use a little cayenne pepper when they're seasoning their mac and cheese. Since we had our pepper jack, we left the cayenne out. But we shredded our cheese, and then once we were done with that, we gave it a little toss to make sure that all of the flavors were evenly distributed throughout. We removed our noodles from the cooktop. Remember, we had already removed them from the heat. Once they were done cooking, we had just left them on the stove until we were done shredding. But removed them from the cooktop, we went on ahead and strained them, rinsed them a little bit, and then we began to ladle the noodles into this here pan. Before doing that, we sprayed with some Pam, not to be confused with pan, again making sure we help the noodles not to stick. So Pam, noodles, then we lightly did salt and pepper, then we added our cheese. Repeat it. So we did our noodles, salt and pepper, pause. Before we added our second layer of cheese, we did our milk and egg mixture, drizzled or poured that one in. We didn't want it to come above halfway of the depth of the pan. Got that in there, that helps all of the ingredients to gel together. Then we added our last layer of cheese. Pop this into the oven for 50 minutes on 425, and there we have it.
Guys, this is really easy, and people love this recipe. I think it's good. I think it's good, but people seem to love it. So let me know what you think about it once you give it a try. We're gonna try this one here in a moment, but again, we're gonna let it cool. One thing I will mention is that I wanna try to experiment with another type of mac and cheese that has more of the cream sauce, and I know there's a name for that, so I'll figure out what that's called, but we'll call this recipe the original mac and cheese. All right, we'll be back in a second once we've had a chance to let it cool so we can give it a try. Okay guys, moment of truth. See, I guess I'll get a corner. Ooh, yes. Oh yeah, this is perfect, I do believe. Look at there. Y'all, you see how it's still gooey, but it's not super duper runny? And if you look here in the pan, it's not runny. We have a whole empty spot here in the pan. And Onyx is trying to get up in this, y'all. Okay, look at him. Go there. Y'all. Bada boom, bada bang, y'all. It was good. It was good. The longer you let it sit, the more congealed it'll get. So if this is still too runny for you, let it sit longer, but for me, perfection. All right, family, so that's it for this video. But please like, share, and subscribe. And also let us know in the comments below, are y'all going for the crispy edges or the ooey gooey inside? Let us know and be blessed.